NASA's Geotail mission operations come to an end after 30 years. NASA's Geotail mission, which was designed to study the Earth's magnetosphere, has come to an end. In this video, we will talk about the exact specifics of the Geotail mission and why did it come to an end. So stay tuned. Before we continue forward, I would like to request that you subscribe to the channel. Channel subscription is a great way of supporting the channel, for which I am really grateful and appreciative. Thank you. Now, let's move forward with the video. The Geotail mission was a joint venture between NASA and JAXA, which is the Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency. The Geotail spacecraft was tasked with analyzing Earth's magnetosphere. This is a magnetic bubble of the planet, which serves many protective functions. The mission came to an end because the data recording apparatuses on the spacecraft started to malfunction. Before we talk about how exactly things went wrong for the Geotail mission, let us talk about when and how the mission originally began. The Geotail spacecraft was launched in July 1992, and the mission began on the 24th of July 1992. The team behind the Geotail mission continued to work for 20 consecutive years until the mission could actually be launched. The joint venture between JAXA and NASA was a part of the International Solar Terrestrial Physics, ISTP, which wanted to initiate the project to study the structure of the magnetosphere. The mission also wanted to take a closer look at the processes which could explain the changes taking place in the long-tail region of our magnetic bubble. This magnetic protective layer is spread over the dark part of the Earth by the solar wind. The mission also helped in understanding how auroras are formed, which can be seen from some parts of the Earth. A famous example of these auroras is the aurora borealis, which can be seen from some parts of Alaska and Norway, along with a handful of other places. The formation of the aurora is due to the process called magnetic reconnection, which transmits energy from the sun into the magnetosphere. This led to another related mission, which was launched in 2015, called the Magnetosphere Multiscale Mission, MMS. The Geotail mission has reached an unfortunate end, but the data gathered by the mission will be analyzed for a long time by NASA and JAXA scientists. But before we can talk about what the mission accomplished, it is important to understand what type of equipment it carried. The scientific equipment used by the Geotail mission included magnetic field measurement monitors, low-energy particles experiment, electric field monitor, among other high-energy and plasma detection equipment. The Geotail spacecraft was launched in a highly elliptical orbit. The reason for choosing an extreme oval-shaped orbit was to position the aircraft in such a way that the furthest location of the magnetosphere could be studied. In doing so, the spacecraft made about 14 close passes of the moon while elevating to higher altitudes. The closest it got to the moon was in 1992, when the spacecraft was only 8,000 miles away from the surface of the moon. Even though the spacecraft was not designed to analyze the lunar surface or atmosphere, the Geotail mission did indicate that the moon's atmosphere contained oxygen, silicon, sodium, and aluminum. We know about polar auroras through the 14th lunar flyby of the Geotail spacecraft. This lunar flyby, which occurred in 1994, set up the spacecraft to study the magnetotail substorms. This phenomenon was studied in closer detail because of the orbits coming in close proximity to Earth. It has also helped in understanding the transmission of energy between the Sun and the Earth's magnetosphere. It has been very instrumental in furthering knowledge about how solar winds impart energy and transfer material on Earth's magnetic protective layer. It is also worth pointing out that the Geotail mission was originally intended for a 4-year mission only. The Geotail mission was extended on many occasions. However, there was some uncertainty if scientists would continue with the mission beyond the new millennium. However, the decision to continue the mission was made because the spacecraft was gathering excellent data, which has refined our understanding about how the magnetosphere functions and what are some of the more critical processes underpinning this protective layer. The 2 data recorders used by the Geotail spacecraft malfunctioned in 2012. Even with a substantial malfunction on board, the spacecraft continued to give important information. All data exchanges stopped when scientists reported an anomaly or an unexplained event in June 2022. Without a functional data recorder on board, there would be no record of the data captured by the spacecraft, which essentially meant that the mission could not be completed by other means. NASA attempted to repair the recorder placed on the Geotail spacecraft. However, with no luck, NASA has announced that it will end its Geotail operations, which remained operational for the last 3 decades. Although the Geotail spacecraft outlived its predicted life cycle by a factor of 6, the space agencies have not disclosed yet about their plans with the spacecraft itself. Retiring the last spacecraft may be a somewhat easy call for the space agencies, but there has been no announcement of a substitute. This brings the video to an end. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please press the like button if you did. Don't forget to share and subscribe to the channel. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next video.